What is up, New Gaming Order? Yes, New Gaming Order. NMO, NFO, New Fighting Game League has been rebranded into what Nelson and I kind of uh, went back and forth with. So, right here, our nice logo. Yes, it looks really streamlined, really cool. So, it might be easier to make our t shirts once the time comes along. But, um, just a little update. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers who are out there in our new gaming order audience. So, just I hope that you all are properly honored on today. All right, now today is well for me, it's 15 June. I'm 9.5 hours ahead of you guys in the states, but that countdown is almost there. Less than 2.5 weeks, I'll be back in the States and be ready to go back for the podcast and take care of business. So shout out to Nelson, brother Noop, aka Smart Brother, Shin Jackman, Shinwar, and the Mizzle, rest of the crew behind the scenes. I have to commend the New Gaming Order team for keeping things afloat while in my absence. This is a vast contrast to when I was in Iraq, and the NMO show at the time just went through blackout phases. So, just make sure you support them. Any donations would help because it would help Nelson out, as being that it's not a cheap thing to do. So just keeping that in mind for all you loyal fans who have contributed to the animal funds, because it's all out of pocket. But I just want to kind of get caught up on a couple of things because I missed out on a lot of E3. But as you can see, the New Gaming Order staff pretty much covered everything in terms of. I think they were more focused on the Microsoft portion, but from what I understand, they're probably gonna do a Nintendo segment and then a Sony segment. But I mean, I just wanted to touch lightly on it because now as gaming journalists, I don't want to come in here ill prepared. So I'll make sure that if I have time on my travel back to the states, that at various airports I'm able to get up to speed and whatnot. But uh, Microsoft, now from a year ago to now, it seems as if they reversed almost all their policies. The whole setup for what the Xbox One, its vision, what it was supposed to do, is completely gone. If you really stop and look at it, so the Sony loyalists and the fanboys are really gonna be like, yeah, Microsoft was down and out. Yes, right now in terms of sales, I mean, I think that was like, hello, you can't force people to be online all the time. You can't lock the games to one system, that kind of stuff. I mean, I think that when they were trying to incorporate a Steam like environment to the consoles, the way Microsoft was trying to do it was just wrong. But give Microsoft their due because they like responded quickly too. They you know, I mean, like for instance, you got the Connect. Now there's a Connect less bundle coming out, and the early adopters of the systems pretty much got screwed, like myself and whomever. And not to mention, I hope that these new systems have the OS in there where you don't need to do that online update out of the box. You know what I mean? Because like, again, I was still struggling for the longest time, and those of you who saw the videos that I was struggling to use the Blu-ray and DVD function on my PS4, and I couldn't even do anything with the Xbox One and that kind of stuff. So um, I hope going forward that they stop this sort of practice. But I mean, Microsoft it has indeed learned the hard way, learned the hard way, and started reversing a lot of things. And in terms of now with the new SDK kits, which is supposed to allow developers to have that 10% extra horsepower from the Xbox One GPU, it remains to be seen. But even with that, it's the PS4 still has better technology in that system. So I mean, the performance is still gonna be there, but now it probably narrows the gap just a bit. So I'd rather be on the podcast with the guys in terms of specifics, in terms of how much closer the Xbox One is to the PS4. But it's just that DDR5 RAM and all and the faster processor. It's just it is what it is. So um, moving on, there was a couple of things that I hadn't had a chance to take a look at. Oh, Ultra Street Fighter 4. I'm looking forward to that. And I know Demizo has said something like, I'm tired of Street Fighter. If me, Noop, Shin Takuma, Beat Down, Tough Nerd Toys, if all of us are sitting there playing Ultra Street Fighter 4, Dave, you're going to play. Come on now. Let's not goof around. I mean, it is what it is. Street Fighter. One of the most competitive games we've been playing, and me and Demizo have been playing since the early days of Street Fighter. I mean, hell, and Brother Noble, shout out to him. Hopefully, we get his machine up and running. But we were messing around with Street Fighter One, or Fighting Street, as you call it. But yeah, I'm giving away my age there. But anyway, it's Street Fighter. I mean, almost like the forefather of all fighting games, or current fighting games. I don't want to, lump it all into one pot. But yes, the modern day fighting game, Godfather is Street Fighter. So Dave, you're gonna play. Just anyway, but as much as I hated the whole the Capre thing, I mean they should have went a little further with changing her design. But I hope when I do get my hands on it, like I'm gonna play with her, just to see. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what Capcom cooked up with her. I'll be checking out Combo Fiend's videos and Maximilian and tutorials and all that because she looks pretty interesting, like heavy pressure and a lot of dashing and all that good stuff. So we'll see how that works out. But as far as other characters and the stages, the funny thing, in my mind, when they were porting the new stages from, well, the recycle stages from Cross Tekken into Street Fighter 4, it's good that it wasn't just a simple copy paste. However, some of the music, like the Cosmic Elevator, the OST or the BGM music in the background is better than Cross Tekken. Then you got the Jurassic facility in the park with the dinosaurs and stuff. That sounds better for Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 4. But I'm not feeling the Mad Gear Hideout. Like, it sounds great in Cross Tekken, but sucks in Ultra. I'm just like, okay. It sounds something like Geese Howard or Samurai Showdown. At least take a Final Fight track, like the Bay Area or Rolento's theme song from Alpha 2. Put that in there or something. I mean, Cross Tekken had that soundtrack better. I'm still getting through the rest of them, but the theme songs for these characters are pretty cool. I think Rolento is the best one from the original Final Fight arcade beat 'em up. I mean, that was pretty slick. Pretty slick. Hugo's theme, it seems like it's a mix of Double Impact and Third Strike. So that was rather interesting. Elena, man, I'm loving that. I put that on my phone, and when I'm doing my 2 mile run and all that, like knocking it out, it's good stuff. And DiCaprio's theme, it's different. I like it. I don't hate it, but it's not like I love the theme either. But I think for the most part, the new content, from what I can see, having not played it yet, I think it'll hold my interest for a bit because I'll be looking at what they did to add in terms of like stage music, how the new characters behave in the Street Fighter 4 environment. So that should be rather interesting. But moving on, I'm just gonna say again, I'm wondering why the hell have we not heard anything about Guilty Gear XR for the X1? It's already confirmed for PS4, and if I'm a majority of my games on Xbox Live, am I gonna have to end up missing out on that game? I refuse. Like Guilty Gear, that's my game. So hopefully they get it together and you know, I mean, Microsoft has reversed so many of their policies, so hopefully things will change and we can get a Western version on the X1. So well, I hope they get that fixed. But that's just me. I'm a Guilty Gear fan. Most of you already know this. So also, just again, I'll be reviewing E3. I have to download it because it's hard to stream out here in the middle of the freaking desert and such. So I'm gonna download it. I'll come back probably in another day or two. But lastly, I wanted to give my thoughts on Street Fighter's Assassin's Fist. First thing, Joey Ansa, thank you. You did Street Fighter justice. Your production team, the way that that product came together was something to behold. A level of respect for the Street Fighter franchise, its story was maintained, and you can tell by the level of detail, the authenticity, the music. Oh man, I mean, it was just well put together, you know. But there are some hiccups in terms of like how, spoiler just for y'all who haven't seen it, like how the evil Ryu surfaces in the whole Satsui no Hado thing. Like a lot of it was a bit rushed, and some things were just out of place in the timeline. But I don't know how Capcom does because they're so vague with their origin stories. Hopefully, if they keep this one as canon, then it is what it is, But I'm not mad at it. I mean, they took a lot of time to make something that you can see in Street Fighter V, which can look like, oh yeah, cheesy. This was not cheesy in any sense of the word. This was done as if Street Fighters were like, for like live action folks that you can walk out of your house and see that would be them. You know, my I mean the actors fit the part, and I must say, Joey Ansa as freaking Goki, woo, man, that was something, especially in the fight with Gotetsu. And I mean, the actors, I would have to say, the going in the period piece times where they're going through Goken's flashbacks, where Goki, like some folks depict Goki as being like a bad guy or evil or something like that. If you really look at it, he's not. We had this discussion amongst the New Gaming Order staff years ago. It's like he's not really bad. It's just like, hey, I'll do anything to achieve my goal, right? He's not out to dominate the world or I mean, he's just on a path of murder in the sense where he's just like no one will stop him from getting to his potential. His younger counterpart did played a really uh played a really emotional, like somebody who completely believed in his quest to master, you know, dark key and whatnot. And it was interesting how they explained how Gotetsu was able to tap into such destructive power, but hey, you have to cleanse your spirit, you have to meditate to contain it, being that Satsui no Hado was unstable according to the story. That made it so interesting. And I love how they created explanation for certain minor details that you don't really pay attention to as you're playing Street Fighter. Like for instance, there was a couple of folks on YouTube who made comments of like, hey, you see Ken's father played a big role where yes, he's a boxer and he was teaching them how to bounce. And then when you think about it, damn, that's pretty cool. It was interesting how they added an explanation for it. Capcom just, hey, that's probably just how they envision them fighting, but to actually give a foundation as to where it came from, that was cool. Really, really, really cool. But yeah, just minor gripes. Like I noticed that Ryu was getting punked pretty. Like he got punked twice, and I think Ken, he got the better of Ken when they first started training. But they were kids, you know what I mean? So and then when he was hesitating with the Hadoken and whatnot, and then he goes out at night and he actually does a big one and knocks Ken out or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But I also chalk that up to Christian Howard and Joy Ansa like actually doing the writing and all that. So I mean, respect for the Street Fighter story and everything is fine, but it's almost as if there was a lot of favor towards Ken. And I know a lot of the Ken fans are like, oh, Alexlexus, you're hating, but no, it's not like that. I'm just saying, if you're gonna go do like the Ken Ryu and Ken rivalry correctly, like I mean, they took parts of the Alpha and how he gets the red headband. That's fine, but in the timeline, he actually gets that after he defeats Sagat in the Street Fighter One tournament, and then they go back and train, and that's where the Street Fighter Alpha Two comes into play. And it's just there were things that were just out of place in that timeline. But if they go into season two, I wonder. I mean, okay, towards the end, it's still a lot to cover. Goken's still alive. I mean, per se, like the inevitable battle between him and Goki is going to happen. So I would like to see like how they're gonna cover that, and how Goken for the longest time was believed to be dead, but now in Street Fighter 4 they this whole thing where he emptied his spirit or did Muno Hado and let Akuma do his thing, and this way he was knocked out for however long, and then he just woke up or whatever. I mean, but it remains to be seen. But again, Assassin's Fist, I, excellent. And those of you who used to watch the NMO show when Anomaly was still on with us, if you saw my reaction to the King of Fighters, this is a complete opposite. I mean, I completely embrace this series. I mean, it there was more consistency with this than the Mortal Kombat Legacy online series. So I mean, you had the Legacy series, season one, and then season two just went something like a whole other direction. So, I mean, I believe consistency is going to be key to maintain its success. And for Capcom, like I did some research on Assassin's Fist and how Joey Ansa was getting some resistance for Capcom, and to a degree like, hey, what if the fans don't like it? It's gonna mess up our release of Street Fighter such and such. And this is like, you know, it seems that some of the execs at Capcom are still out of touch with their fans. You know what I mean? And the proof of concept with the Street Fighter Legacy trailer and all that. And if they were to think that, hey, no one's gonna like that, but yet they're gonna like Street Fighter Cross Tekken with pay to play and gems and shit, they need to fire everyone in the executive staff and hire some new people that will look at Assassin's Fist and maybe intertwine it with the games. Like, have those people do motion capturing for the next Street Fighter, perhaps Street Fighter 5. You know what I mean? That would be rather interesting. So let me know what you guys think. But in conclusion, like I said, I will be back soon. I miss doing the NMO show or NGO. I still gotta get used to it. Please support Nelson. Please support the remaining staff back at home. When I get there, I'll make sure everybody's getting their turn, like on your niche and Takuma, and the list goes on. And for you Mugen guys who saw me actually working on my mix of Street Fighter 3/4 Goken, like I'm gonna be finishing up the sprites during my time of getting acclimated to being back in the United States. So I'm even touching up Asura and working on Dark Shawn again. Dante, I'm playing with here and there. We'll see. I mean, I don't want to start something and not finish. That's one thing that I did learn out here for now almost 10 months that have been deployed. So it's just you'll see some good things in that respect. But please subscribe, check us out. Check out the other podcast shows. Make sure supporting Mugen Lord, Alpha Omega Sin, Angry Joe, the other podcasters. It's one thing where it could be friendly competition, but at the end of the day, we're all gamers and we're gonna support each other, right? So, any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them below. If ever you wanna get on the show, hook up with Nelson. You can get our information through the YouTube channel and the Facebook page that I'm trying to maintain here and there out here in Afghanistan, and I will see you next time. So I am looking forward to say like I'm back and back like a juggernaut bitch, and see you next time on the NMO show and all that stuff. So it's coming soon, guys. So I'll see you next time, and make sure you subscribe. We're actually doing better with that. So I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Peace.